Welcome to Avenue of Words, where we believe language is the key that unlocks countless doors in your life. I'm not just here to teach you English. I'm here to show you how mastering this global language can transform your reality in ways you've never imagined. To everyone watching right now, I want you to understand something important. Learning English isn't just about memorizing vocabulary or understanding grammar rules. It's about acquiring a tool that can dramatically expand your opportunities, connections, and understanding of our world. In this video, I'll share with you the incredible ways that mastering English can change your life path, regardless of where you're starting from. Whether you're a complete beginner or working on advanced fluency, these insights will revolutionize how you approach language learning. This isn't just a lesson, it's a roadmap to a different future. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the base of a mountain. At the top of this mountain are all your dreams, better career opportunities, international travel experiences, meaningful connections with people from around the world. The path up this mountain is language. Every new word, every grammar rule, every practice conversation is another step toward the summit. English today is spoken by nearly 1.5 billion people worldwide. It's the primary language of international business, science, technology, entertainment, and diplomacy. When you learn English, you're not just learning a language. You're gaining access to a global conversation. Think about this. Right now, there are job opportunities you can't access because of language barriers. There are friendships you can't form, ideas you can't explore, places you can't navigate comfortably. Every word of English you learn removes one of these barriers. Many people approach language learning with frustration. They focus on what they don't know, on how far they have to go. But this mindset is holding you back. Instead of seeing language learning as an obstacle, start seeing it as a bridge. Each new word is another plank in that bridge, bringing you closer to the other side. The first principle I want to share with you is this: consistency trumps intensity. So many language learners make the mistake of studying intensely for hours once a week, then doing nothing for days. This approach doesn't work. Your brain needs regular exposure to form lasting neural pathways. 15 minutes of focused English practice every day will yield far better results than 3 hours once a week. Make English a daily habit, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. Small, consistent efforts compound over time into remarkable results. The second principle is immersion. You must surround yourself with English. Change your phone's language settings to English. Watch TV shows in English with subtitles. Listen to English podcasts during your commute. Follow English speakers on social media. The more you surround yourself with the language, the faster your brain will adapt. Remember this: your brain is incredibly adaptive. It's designed to recognize patterns and make sense of communication. If you immerse yourself in English, your brain will begin to internalize the patterns naturally, even when you're not consciously studying. Many language learners get stuck in the perfectionist trap. They're afraid to speak until they can do so perfectly. But this fear of making mistakes will severely limit your progress. Embrace imperfection. Native speakers will appreciate your efforts to communicate far more than they'll judge your mistakes. In language learning, errors are not failures. They're essential feedback that helps your brain adjust and improve. The most successful language learners are those who are willing to make mistakes publicly and learn from them. Every language learner eventually hits plateaus, periods where you feel stuck, where progress seems to halt despite your continued efforts. These plateaus aren't signs of failure. They're natural parts of the learning process. When you first begin learning English, progress feels rapid. You quickly pick up basic greetings, common phrases, essential vocabulary. This early progress is exciting and motivating, but as you advance, learning becomes more nuanced. You're no longer adding completely new concepts, but refining your understanding and use of more complex ones. Here's how to break through these plateaus. First, recognize that they're normal. Every successful English speaker has experienced them. Second, change your approach. If you've been focusing heavily on reading, shift to speaking practice. If you've been studying grammar, spend time with authentic listening materials. Your brain craves novelty. When you introduce new methods of engagement with the language, you create new neural pathways and reinvigorate your learning process. Another powerful strategy is to find a purpose for your English beyond just learning English. Connect your language skills to your passions. If you love cooking, follow English language recipe videos. If you're interested in business, read English articles about entrepreneurship. If you enjoy music, analyze and translate lyrics from your favorite English songs. When language learning connects to your authentic interests, motivation becomes automatic. You're no longer studying English because you should. You're using English to explore things you genuinely care about. Many people underestimate the power of speaking out loud, even when alone. Your mouth is a muscle, and pronouncing English sounds requires specific muscle movements that might be different from your native language. Practice speaking English aloud daily, even if it's just reading from a book or repeating phrases you've heard. This physical practice is crucial for developing fluency. Consider recording yourself speaking English. While this might feel uncomfortable at first, it allows you to hear yourself objectively and identify areas for improvement. Many language learners are surprised to discover that they sound better than they thought. Remember this truth: language learning is not linear. You will have days when English feels almost natural, followed by days when basic conversations seem challenging. This inconsistency is completely normal. Progress happens in waves, not in a straight line. Trust the process and keep moving forward, especially when it feels difficult. Learning English isn't just about mastering vocabulary and grammar. It's about understanding the cultures and worldviews expressed through this language. Language and culture are inseparable. Each language carries unique perspectives, values, humor, and ways of thinking. As you study English, pay attention to cultural references, idioms, and expressions. These aren't just vocabulary items, they're windows into different ways of seeing the world. When you learn that English speakers say it's raining cats and dogs for heavy rain, you're not just learning a phrase, you're glimpsing how English speakers use vivid imagery in their expressions. One of the most valuable aspects of learning English is gaining access to diverse perspectives. English is spoken as a first, second, or third language in countries across every continent. From American business culture to Indian literature, from Australian slang to Nigerian storytelling traditions, English connects you to countless cultural expressions. This cultural understanding has practical benefits. In international business, knowing when to be direct or indirect, formal or casual, can be just as important as knowing the right words. Understanding cultural contexts makes you a more effective communicator. But beyond practical benefits, this cultural understanding expands your mind. Research shows that bilingual and multilingual people often demonstrate greater cognitive flexibility and empathy. When you learn to express yourself in a new language, you literally develop new patterns of thinking. Many language learners make the mistake of focusing exclusively on standard academic English. While formal English is important, understanding colloquial expressions, slang, and informal speech is equally valuable. Informal aspects of language often reveal the most about cultural values and perspectives. Listen to how English is actually spoken in different contexts. In casual conversations, in professional settings, in entertainment media. Notice how the language shifts based on relationship, purpose, and context. This awareness will make you a more sophisticated and adaptable communicator. Remember that English itself varies tremendously across regions and communities. British English differs from American English, which differs from Australian, Indian, Caribbean, and African versions of English. These aren't just differences in accent. They involve vocabulary, expressions, and sometimes even grammar. Exposure to these varieties enriches your understanding and adaptability. As you advance in your English journey, start exploring literature, poetry, and creative writing in English. These artistic expressions of language reveal deeper cultural values and perspectives. Even reading simple short stories can provide insights that textbooks can't offer. Now we come to perhaps the most powerful aspect of language learning, how it transforms you as a person. Learning a new language, especially one as globally significant as English, doesn't just change what you can do, it changes who you are. When you learn English, you're not just acquiring a skill like driving or cooking. You're developing a new identity, a version of yourself that thinks, expresses, and connects differently. Many bilingual people report that they feel like slightly different people when speaking different languages. This isn't just imagination. Research supports that language influences personality expression. Each language carries its own thought patterns, humor styles, and emotional expressions. As you become fluent in English, you're expanding your capacity for different ways of thinking and feeling. This cognitive flexibility is a profound form of personal growth. Learning English also develops resilience. The process requires facing uncertainty, making mistakes publicly, and pushing through frustration. These experiences build emotional strength that transfers to every area of your life. When you successfully navigated the vulnerability of speaking a new language, other challenges become less intimidating. The discipline required for consistent language learning builds valuable habits. The daily practice, the long-term commitment, the focus on gradual improvement, these approaches benefit every goal you pursue. Many successful language learners find that the process teaches them as much about determination as it does about grammar. Consider keeping a journal in English. Even simple entries about your day or your thoughts create a powerful practice space. Writing allows you to process at your own pace, experiment with new expressions, and track your progress over time. Many learners are amazed when they look back at entries from months earlier and see how far they've come. Find communities of English learners and speakers. These might be online forums, local conversation groups, or international exchange programs. Connecting with others on similar journeys provides support, accountability, and friendship. Language is fundamentally social. It exists to connect humans with one another. As your English skills advance, you'll likely experience moments of profound connection across cultural boundaries. There's something deeply moving about sharing ideas, humor, or emotions with someone whose background differs completely from yours. These connections remind us of our shared humanity despite cultural differences. Remember that language learning is lifelong. Even native speakers continue learning new words, expressions, and communication styles throughout their lives. There's no finish line where you know all of English. Instead, there's a continuous journey of expansion and refinement. Embrace this ongoing nature of language learning. Finally, celebrate your progress. Language learning can sometimes feel slow because you're living with your skills every day. But the transformation is remarkable when viewed over months and years. Take time to acknowledge how far you've come. Compare recordings of yourself from different time periods. Notice how materials that once seemed impossibly difficult now make sense. Your English skills are opening doors to new opportunities, new perspectives, and new connections. Every word you learn, every conversation you have, every idea you express in English is expanding your world. I want to leave you with this thought. Language learning is one of the most profoundly human activities. When you learn English, you're participating in a tradition as old as humanity itself. The reaching across boundaries to understand and be understood by others. This desire to connect transcends all differences of geography, history, and culture. So continue your English journey with confidence. Practice consistently. Embrace the challenges. Connect your learning to your passions. And remember that with every English word you master, you're not just learning a language, you're transforming your future. Thank you for joining me today on Avenue of Words. If this video has inspired you, please like, subscribe, and share it with others on their language learning journeys. Until next time, keep expanding your world through the power of language.